Hi, you are watching Kids Screen Learning.
Animals and their home. Animals and their home. Dog lives in kennel. Dog lives in kennel.
The lion takes a rest inside a den.
Dog lives in kennel. Dog lives in kennel.
Bird chirps happily in its nest. High in the tree.
Elephant lives in forest. Elephant lives in forest.
Live snug in a little kennel, while ducks float by a leafy channel. A horse in a stable.
Elephant lives in forest.
Running outside when
Elephant lives in forest.
Bees buzz softly in their hive, making honey. to
Bear
keep
lives
the
in
buzz
cave.
alive.
Bear lives in cave.
The spider spins a web so fine, its silky threads truly shine. The cow sleeps
Bear
in the
lives in
barn at
cave.
night. The sheep in a
Bear
pen
lives
are
in
tucked
cave.
tight. Deep underground, the rabbit hides in a cozy burrow. It safely resides.
Tiger lives in den. Tiger lives in den. Tiger lives in den. Tiger lives in den. Deer lives in grassland. Deer lives in grassland.
So many to know. From the ocean's depths to the mountain snow.
Deer lives in grassland.
Each has a place,
Deer lives in
a
grassland.
space of its own. A wonderful world where creatures are known.
Horse lives in stable.
In the
Horse lives in
forest,
stable.
the lion takes a rest inside a den. It feels
Horse
the
lives in stable.
the bird
Horse lives in stable.
in its nest.
high in the trees. It builds
Cow lives in shed.
The
Cow
dog
lives in
snug
shed.
in a little kennel, while ducks float by a
Cow
leafy
lives in
channel.
shed.
A
Cow
horse
lives in
a
shed.
stable feels at ease, running outside when it pleases.
Lion lives in den.
buzz softly
Lion
in
lives
their
in den.
hive, making honey to keep the buzz alive.
Lion lives in den.
Spins a web so
Lion
fine,
lives in
silky
den.
threads truly shine. The cow sleeps in a barn at night. The sheep in a pen all tucked in
Monkey
tight.
lives in
Deep
tree.
underground, the rabbit
Monkey
hides
lives in
cozy
tree.
burrow it safely resides.
Animals and homes, so many to know.
Monkey lives
The
in
ocean
tree.
to the mountain snow.
Monkey lives
Each
in
has a
tree.
place, a space of its own, a wonderful world where creatures are known.
Giraffe lives in savannah. Giraffe lives in savannah.
In the forest, the lion takes a rest.
Giraffe lives in
Inside
savannah.
feels the best.
Giraffe lives in savannah.
The bird chirps happily in its nest.
Camel lives in desert.
Trees it builds its
Camel lives in
nest.
desert.
The dog lives snug in a little kennel, while ducks float by a leafy channel.
Camel lives in desert.
Feels at ease,
Camel lives in desert.
when it pleases.
Bees buzz softly in their hive.
Bird lives in nest.
To keep
Bird
the
lives
buzz
in nest.
alive. The spider spins a web so fine, its silky threads truly
Bird
shine.
lives in nest.
Sleeps in a barn.
Bird lives in nest.
In a pen all tucked in tight. Deep underground, the rabbit hides in a cozy burrow. It safely
Frog lives in pond.
resides.
Frog lives in pond. Frog lives in pond. Frog lives in pond. Snake lives in hole. Snake lives in hole.
Animals and homes, so many to know. From the ocean's depths
Snake lives in
to the
hole.
mountain snow.
Snake lives in hole.
Each has a place, a space of its own. A wonderful world.
Rabbit lives in burrow.
creatures are known.
Rabbit lives in burrow.
In the forest, the lion takes a rest. Inside a
Rabbit lives in burrow.
it feels
Rabbit lives in burrow.
The bird chirps happily in
Donkey lives in stable.
High in the trees,
Donkey lives in stable.
it builds its crest.
The dog lives snug in a little kennel.
Donkey lives in stable.
While ducks float
Donkey
by
lives in stable.
a leafy channel. A horse in a stable feels at ease. Running outside.
Ant lives in anthill.
pleases.
Ant lives in anthill.
Softly in their hive, making honey to keep the buzz alive.
Ant lives in anthill.
The spider
Ant lives in anthill.
Find its silky threads truly shine. The cow sleeps in a barn at night. The sheep in a
Panda lives in bamboo forest.
deep underground.
Panda lives in bamboo forest.
Deep burrow it safely resides. Animals
Panda lives in bamboo forest.
the ocean's depths.
Panda lives in bamboo forest.
has a place, a space of its own. A wonderful world where creatures are known.
Hippopotamus lives in riverbank. Hippopotamus lives in riverbank.
In the forest, the lion takes a rest.
Hippopotamus lives in riverbank.
Inside a den, it
Hippopotamus
feels
lives in riverbank.
the bird chirps happily in its nest.
Fish lives in water.
High in the
Fish lives
trees,
in
it builds
water.
its crest.
The dog lives snug in a little kennel. While ducks float by.
Fish lives in water.
A horse in a
Fish
stable
lives in
feels
water.
at ease. Running outside when it pleases.
Bees buzz softly in their hive, making honey
Duck lives in
to
near
keep
water.
the buzz alive.
Duck lives in near water.
The spider spins a web so fine, its silky threads truly shine. The
Duck
cow
lives in
sleeps
near
the
water.
barn at night. The sheep
Duck
in
lives
the
in
pen
near
are
water.
tucked in tight. Deep underground, the rabbit hides in a cozy burrow. It safely resides.
Spider lives in web. Spider lives in web. Spider lives in web. Spider lives in web. Bee lives in hive.
Animals and
Bee
holes
lives
so
in
many
hive.
know. From the ocean's depths to the mountain snow.
Bee lives in
Has a
hive.
place,
Bee
a
lives in
space of
hive.
its own. A wonderful world where creatures are known. In the forest,
Hen lives
the
in coop.
lion takes a rest.
Hen lives in coop.
Inside a den, it feels the best.
The bird chirps
Hen lives in coop.
in its nest.
Hen lives in coop.
High in the trees, it builds its crest.
The dog lives snug in a little kennel.
Cat lives in cattery.
While ducks
Cat
float
lives in
by
cattery.
a leafy channel. A horse in a stable feels at ease.
Cat lives in cattery.
Running
Cat lives in
outside
cattery.
when it pleases.
Bees buzz softly in their hive, making
Mouse
honey
lives in
to
hole.
keep the buzz
Mouse lives in
alive.
hole.
The spider spins a web so fine, its silky threads truly shine. The cow
Mouse lives in
sleeps a
hole.
barn at night. The
Mouse
sheep
lives in
pen
hole.
tucked in tight. Deep underground, the rabbit hides in a cozy burrow. It safely resides.
Sheep lives in pen.
So many to know.
Sheep
From
lives
the
in
ocean's
pen.
depths to the mountain snow. Each has a place, a space of its own. A wonderful world where creatures are
Sheep lives in
known.
pen. Sheep lives in pen.
In the forest, the lion takes a rest.
Goat lives in shed.
Inside
Goat lives in
the den,
shed.
it feels the best. The bird chirps happily in its nest.
Goat lives in shed. Goat lives in shed.
It builds its crest.
The dog lives snug in a little kennel. While ducks
Owl
float
lives in
by
hollow
a
tree.
leafy channel. A horse
Owl
in a
lives in
stable
hollow
feels
tree.
at ease. Running outside when it pleases.
Bees buzz softly in their
Owl lives in
hive,
hollow tree.
making
Owl lives in hollow tree.
keep the buzz alive. The spider spins a web so fine.
Penguin lives in rookery.
Truly shine.
Penguin lives in rookery.
The barn at night. The sheep in a pen all tucked in tight. Deep underground, the rabbit hides.
Penguin lives in rookery.
Safely
Penguin lives in rookery.
resides.
Wolf lives in den. Wolf lives in den. Wolf lives in den. Wolf lives in den.
Animals and homes, so many to know.
Crocodile lives in riverbank. Crocodile lives in riverbank.
Each has a place, a space of its own.
Crocodile lives in riverbank.
Where creatures
Crocodile lives in
are
riverbank.
in the forest, the lion takes a rest.
Kangaroo lives in grassland. Kangaroo lives in grassland.
The bird chirps happily in its nest.
Kangaroo lives in grassland. Kangaroo lives in grassland.
The dog lives snug in a little kennel.
Whale lives in ocean. Whale lives in ocean.
Channel. A horse in a stable feels at ease.
Whale lives in ocean.
Outside when
Whale lives in ocean.
Bees buzz softly in their hive, making honey to
Eagle
keep
lives
the
in
buzz
airy.
alive.
Eagle lives in airy.
The spider spins a web so fine its silky threads truly shine. The cow sleeps
Eagle
in a
lives
barn
in
at
airy.
night. The sheep in a pen
Eagle lives in
tucked
airy.
tight. Deep underground the rabbit
Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, like, and share.